The only time that you're going to be free totally from all these charges is basically when you have your CBN license. But as long as that you want to leverage on a third party API to service your customer, rest assured in one way or the other, the processing bank or the powering bank must charge you for these services, right? So, but our aim and our on where we can come in as your own partner is to ensure that the fees are lower, right? So that you can charge your customer a lesser fee today. So let me know if anyone has any other question.
Okay, good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good evening. My name is Chinedu Kebu, the Director of UTS Service and Investment. My own is just an appreciation, not really a question. So I want to thank the Wire Banking for what you are doing. Your platform has really given me an opportunity to move forward, because initially we were doing analog service banking, which made most of my staff to keep stealing money, removing money. And when you are doing analog, it's difficult for you to trace, in most cases, when money is missing. So I just want to thank you people for what you are doing. It's really giving businesses hope. I also want to emphasize on the mandate account, which you have already enlightened me. I'm talking about loan, because most of the customers that I do give loan, in most cases, you discover that they may not pay when they are supposed to pay. So I want to be reassured again that the mandate account is something that is strong, whereby when a customer does not pay when he's supposed to pay, such customer's account will be debited and I will be credited. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Joseph, sorry, I know I missed one of the questions you've asked. I wanted to be sure that you are here. So on the tier, so basically what we've done today because of fraud, because we'll notice a lot of people, a lot of customers just go ahead, provide the basic information which is needed even without BVN, register this account, receive fraudulent funds, and walk away, right? And a lot of businesses are not actually putting their eyes on the platform. And mostly these transactions are basically happen by night hour when you as a business owner is off the system, and this customer will automatically create this account, receive payment, and before they break, they've moved this value to whatever banks. And we'll have cases with different banks today, which they've come for recovery, telling them that this transaction was fraudulent, we should reverse it. But unfortunately, the customer have cut away with the money. And mostly, in most cases, that customer are likely to use that account only once. Just because they've used that account for fraudulent transaction, they wouldn't want to use it again. They rather use another different profile, another new phone number to create a new account with you and with a new name. We've had a scenario where a single customer have up to 5 different accounts using different name. It took a lot of effort for us to even know, to even detect, okay, this is what the person was actually doing. But for us to be able to take control of the system and also give you the power of the system, we had to introduce tier limit and tier pending. So what is tier limit and tier pending? Tier limit simply allows you to collect additional KYC. Does wired banking enforce you or say it's mandatory for you to provide this? No. But what does wired banking does today? Wired banking, it's saying directly to you as a business owner, we are asking you to collect this KYC. In a case of fraud, wire banking will no longer be held accountable or responsible, but rather you will be held responsible, right? And you have to provide that particular customer and their KYC at any given time. Because in most cases, most of the account with fraudulent transactions, they don't have KYC. Customer have cut away with funds. There's no way. And mostly when we look at from our end, even you as a business owner, you didn't collect any KYC on them and they've cut away with funds. So of course, engaging you to provide this KYC will become more of like we are discouraging you. So but the only thing that we know we can do for you to assist you as a business is to provide you with options or menu for you to have control over these situations. They will now lecture you. One, before you upgrade this tier, right? Have BVN. So of course today, if you're on tier 1, they've made it mandatory. BVN on in is mandatory. So of course, someone provide you that BVN, ensure is that BVN. But of course, what are we trying to do today? It's there are a lot of data online today. If you go to Facebook, Instagram, because of giveaway, a lot of people drop their account number on the internet anyhow. But if you ask them of their BVN, they don't want to give you BVN, but they have the mind to drop their account number. Which I keep telling people, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Which I have keep telling people today. I said, the BVN you don't want to share with somebody, but you are busy sharing your account number online. Your BVN is difficult for financial institution to get your account number from your BVN. It's recently of this year that the NIMS started allowing people to get account that is linked to a BVN. Previously, it was not so. Only the commercial banks has this ability, right? It's earlier this year that we also were given this privilege, right? But what was there in the market before now? Every account number that you provide me, I can give you the BVN. So when you go to the internet, you can do lookup on each account number to get the BVN that is linked to this account number. So customer does not want to give you their BVN, but they want to share their account number, which a lot of people who are knowledgeable on the internet will go there, pick random people data and use it on the platform, creating an account, collecting their name and their BVN, their date of birth, replicating that same value to create an account. So there is no way for you to identify either even this BVN that the customer is giving you is belongs to him or not. That is where we are introducing liveliness check, which Savior is working on right now. So what is liveliness check? Liveliness check simply means once the customer provides you with BVN, before they upgrade to the next tier, they just have to show their face to the web interface. The web interface will capture their face via camera and compare it to the BVN in the banks, whether it matches or not. So if the BVN, if the BVN does not match with the customer's identity, it automatically declines. So of course, there are measures which we'll take for that verification, which of course, since we're unable to complete it this year, on the coming year is definitely something we want to complete. So why we introduce this tier of a thing, it's because of fraud, not for any reasons. But of course, if businesses are saying, oh, we are awake now and we can take responsibility of all action being taken on the system, if I can approve an account and I can give an account of whatever fraudulent activity that have occur from my customer behavior, why not? We can allow you to have access to more tier. But of course, we've given you the privilege right now. The customer starts from small, you upgrade them to a higher. Customer can transfer today up to 10 million, right? But based on the KYC they provide for you. But note, wire banking does not mandate you or hold you by your leg that you must collect those data. But what wire banking have done today, wire banking have given you the position for you to collect this data by yourself and upgrade them. But in an event, you refuse to collect it, following our advice or our recommendation, and it's a fraud, we can hold you accountable. Hence, we've provided you with the tools to use for these activities, right? So when it comes to the pending tier settlements, like I previously, a lot of customers will open an account, collect full sum of money, withdraw it that same night or even the morning, possibly when you're off the system and cut away, they likely not be able to use that transaction. And I believe a lot of us are not even validating phone number. Some of them we pretext, oh, I don't receive OTP. We'll have such kind of cases where it's, oh, I don't receive OTP. But on the other real sense, the phone number does not belong to them. It belongs to somebody that they stole the data from. right? And at the end of the day, when you now see that you've given them as a possible via notification log, you've copied the OTP and give to them, that is when you can, your eye will now open. In the case of fraud, when you now call that particular phone number, you see it is a strange person that is totally different from the person which will approve his account that is there, right? So there are a lot of risk in as much as it's a beautiful area. There is a lot of risk on the environment, which we are trying to make businesses to be aware of. It's not that wire banking want to limit your operation. No, you still have that control, but in that control, we give you an additional control to be able to serve you better off. And for customers who receive exorbitant amount of money that is above their tier, wire banking is not holding it back. It's not seizing it. What does wire banking do? If possibly, if the tier of your customer is allowed to receive 1 million naira and receive 5 million naira, the system will hold it under e-banking pending tier settlement. So what does it mean? The customer need to come to your office or call you, provide you the KYC and how he managed to receive that funds. Once you've satisfied and you are okay, if you think that this customer and this funds is clean, you can now upgrade the customer's account. The system automatically sets to credit the customer and credit your business, while banking is not holding this money at any given point, right? So the pending tier and the pending settlement is still under your control. You do not need to call wired banking to release the funds to you. No, wired banking have already created the avenue for you to manage this resource. But the only thing we are trying, we are creating these tools for to prevent fraud, which is the core area of the topic why we introduce these options today. Okay, so
Actually,
I'll be falling back on the last question, which is the loan mandate, right? So the loan mandate works perfectly fine. But of course, one of the things I see a lot of people do on the loan mandate is they don't do inquiry, right? Account inquiry. Account inquiry is very, very crucial. Account inquiry is very, very crucial. What does account inquiry mean for you? Before you use mandates, don't just tell customer to fill their account number where they will be debited from. The rest assured that customer will never give you their day-to-day account number. They'll give you, okay, just like me, I have commercial banks and I have mobile money, right? And mostly I don't use my commercial bank in most cases. I use mobile money such as OP, PAMPay, and its kind, right? When you ask me for my account number and you said you want to debit me, of course, I want to give you my my commercial bank, which I don't use often, right? And of course, once you connect it, and each time the mandate want to attempt to run to debit, you automatically encounter insufficient funds. So that's why if you go to your dashboard, you click on mandate log, you get to see a lot of insufficient, or failed. It's because as much time that the system is attempting via the NIMS route to debit this customer, the account is insufficient. So what is the lookup that you needed to do? Before you give any customer, ask them to provide a statement, right? Excuse me. But in the coming year, we are going to be giving businesses, some selected businesses, ability to read the account number linked to a BVN. So of course, you can decide to enter the customer BVN. We give you all the list of accounts that is linked to his BVN. So you cannot tell him, provide me the statement of all these accounts. Then you cannot make your choice from there, right? You cannot make your choice from there to know which exactly account the customer is using. Then you cannot tie your direct debit mandate inside of that account so that as the customer receiving value, your account automatically debits it. Else, if you're going to use any account where the customer is not using, as many times wired banking ecosystem communicate with names to debit the customer, it will always revert back with insufficient funds and the customer will not be debited, right? So that is the main reason. So it works perfectly fine, but only when the customer is using that particular account actively to perform transaction. Of course, once the system finds funds there, it will debit. But of course, the only point where you can see it fail is when there is no value on the customer commercial banks, and there is nothing we can do if there is no fund. There is no way the bank will allow us to place the customer account on negative. That's because it's a loan recovery. No, right? So it's for you to in-house do your due diligence, do your loan lookup. We've tried our best to introduce a couple of loan lookup, which of course next year we'll add 2 more. We'll add First Central to read, so that you can be able to read every customer via the BVN in case they have any loan anywhere. Of course, you're able to read and get much data before you can even give them loans, right? So of course, that's basically what we've done today. I believe the both questions have been handled today. Let me know if you have any clarification, any aspect, or you have additional question. Thank you.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, my name is Sam from Iowa Light.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a couple of, I just have one question. So it's regarding the POS. So here in my office, we have about 10 POS machines, and none it's really working. None is working. So my question is, how do we go about it? Because out of the 10, I think it was just two, and it was the one that we got that the once it displays it comes with wired banking. That's the only one that is functioning, but the other ones are not functioning, of which we've complained severally. So we don't know, how do we go about it? That's just my question.
Okay, so on the POS, so depending on the status, either it's tempered or not tempered, right? In the case of not tempered, I think in most cases where I see people have encountered is routing issues, which we recommend today that POS be returned back to the source merchant, right? So and I believe that those POS should belong to Errand Pay. So the only thing just to do is to arrange a call with Errand Pay, if possible, return all the terminals to them, top up money, and get an advanced POS. So okay, if you have the old version of the POS, so you can get the newest version of the POS. But of course, with our partnership with Group right now, we've discussed with them, which they said, okay, we're able to work around the application that's running on it, right? So this simply means that you ever do not want to work with Errand Pay, that money is not gone, right? Group is now able to reconfigure their own application into that particular terminal and for it to continue debating. But at the moment, the status of Group updating their app on the terminal is not visible. But for you to update or change your terminal to a newer one is very much possible today. You can engage the RMP team. You can take a screenshot with them, ship back the terminals back to them. They'll tell you the additional fee that is quite needed, right? For them to give you a newer terminal. And that should solve your problem on the other way, right? Let me know if anyone has any question.
Hello, good evening.
All right, thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Good evening.
I hardly can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Good evening.
Better off. Go ahead. Good evening.
Okay, good evening. I'm Olayinka from Better Pay.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me first comment your work. I really appreciate every effort and improvement you put in your services. It's actually fine. But let me talk about the issue of the POS. I don't know. I want to talk about the inflow of POS. Is it possible for each machine to get a direct inflow to their wallets? Instead, after integrating with our system, they don't see any inflow. It comes to their own account, and it doesn't tally with what they have with the POS.
Okay.
With the
Yeah,
machine.
so
Is it
I
possible?
totally understood that question. Right. So basically, we had difficulties on the cash out, right? So what does it mean on the cash out? On the cash out, it's when the customer receive payment via cards, it automatically impacts on their account. Now, when the customer want to perform withdrawals, now if we settle that funds on your settlement account in wired banking, other customers are likely able to spend this money, right? And when the customer want to now perform transaction via the terminals, you begin to get insufficient funds, which that's not the experience they want to encounter. So that's why we routed that previously. But going forward, when we now introduce Group, we now did one routing. So on the Group, you can only receive payments, right? You can receive payment via cards and via transfers, right? So this makes it very much easier for us to settle into the customer main accounts. You cannot transfer from the terminal. So whenever you need your money, just open the mobile app and transfer. So what we are trying to prevent is on the Errand Pay app, funds are not always being may likely not always being available on the pool account, which will cause insufficient crash of the ecosystem. That's why we routed it over. But of course, on the group does not work. On the group application or terminal, it works perfectly, just like the way you've narrated it. That's how it works. But of course, for customers who have consign on the Errand Pay and want to route all the transaction to their main account, this is possible, but on a condition that will not honor any transfer or funds transfer request via the terminal. Once this is okay by you, we will disable the funds transfer, right? This simply means the customer had to do their bank transfer from the app, not from the POS itself, right? So this is the only option for you to be able to resolve this issue, right? But as long as that the customer want to be doing inflow and outflow, at the moment it's not visible. Except that you now said, okay, I'll be displaying sufficient balance for my customers. And understand the Errand Pay ecosystem is totally mostly different. They don't do the check balance instantly. They process this transaction before they send us notification. Mostly this transaction are likely being able to fail at the wrong run. It may likely not fail immediately, but after some minutes, it fails. And some of the time, where we also decline that option, their notification, what's it called? The notification system is not stable. Some of the time they notify, or some of the time they don't notify. So that's almost of the time when you have declined transaction or failed transaction, instead for the system to automatically reverse it, you have to send the request to us. Why? We've already configured our system to automatically reverse this transaction, but because the RMP system is not consistently in sending this updated what's it called, updated notification to our system, which is causing our system not to automatically reverse some transaction. But of course, we've spoken to their boss earlier last week, which of course we've provided a routing method for us to not wait for their notification system anymore, but rather to build our own ecosystem that will leverage on theirs. So doing this, we're easily able to automatically reverse funds transfer. So of course, these are the major reasons why we did not honor direct credit on the RMP app, right? We have to create a separate pool account where the funds can come in and come out from. Let me know if I have any questions. Yeah, so go ahead, ask your questions, please. Good testimony. Do you have any question? Please go ahead. We have less than 20 minutes on this call. If anyone has any question, please go ahead, ask.
Okay. Hello. Please, can I still ask one more question?
Yeah, go ahead, ask.
Okay. On that same terminal, there's an issue that happens last 2 weeks with one of my agents in Abuja. I think Errand Pay had to let me come. The agent was not around. His boys was the one operating, and all the decline transaction they were debited. The customer was actually debited. But the problem we have here was he could not even provide a reprint of all those failed transactions. That was the fault from his own end there, which they were dragging him for. And there was no reprint. The RMP was not recording. The terminal was only recording a successful transaction. Any failed transaction is not being recorded, is not being shown to the client. But I think back end, they could see that from the back end. But I don't know if that could be fixed because it actually caused me so many issues last 2 weeks.
Okay, so apologies on that. So for the customer who were debited, right? So if they misplaced their what's it called, their transaction slip, you can recommend them to go to their bank and get transaction backlog cards and
The machine was not printing.
come again.
The machine was not printing. I had to retrieve the machine last week. The machine was not printing. That's the issue. So that was the issue here.
Yeah, so it's the same thing I'm saying. So the backlog, if as long as that the customer is debited, of course, it's his commercial bank or his bank that was debited, his bank should have a copy of the RRN and the backlog. So once his bank share it with him, you can share that with RMP or with us, follow up on that for recovery. But rest assured, any of the transaction which you have a concrete proof of either section number or RRN is something you can recover.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. All right. So do we have any other questions?
All right.
Okay,
Can I
yes.
ask this question?
Yeah, go
Hello?
ahead.
Concerning the
Hello.
concerning the POS, are you with me? Concerning the POS, please, there are three things or four things I want to point out. Any of your partners you are operating with, for instance, you already have a errand pay as your partner. They should try to give us a robust machine. Most of their machines are not printing, which is not very good for the business. So, because at the time when there is a problem, I want to get a printout, and the machine could not print it out, it will give us a lot of problems with that. So they should come out with a robust machine that can really function very well. Secondly, the aspect of checking card balance should be addressed. Of course, no, all the machines are checking card balance these days, so we can't be operating any terminal that is not checking card balance. Then pay by transfer. Their pay by transfer should be up and doing. Their pay by transfer is not working at all. And the pay by transfer should be a kind of an account attached to it, that it will also be added to the POS balance, not going to wallet to go and look for it. Let it be a number that will reflect on the balance on the POS, just like others. So, because not everybody have a Android phone to get the app. And most of, we don't even have an app for iOS. Some places have iPhones. So it is giving us a issue. Then lastly, on what I want to say concerning the direct card that we are using now, the direct card is good, but it's giving us some concerns to be monitoring our system every now and then. Most especially if you don't have so much money to load into your pool account. Let me put it that way now, because at times if a customer deposit for instance 300,000 inside his account, I wanted to do withdrawal immediately, and probably you only have some few money that is there before, and you are not aware. Before you know, it will not be telling you insufficient fund and you are going to be charged for it. If there's going to be a way forward whereby once a customer put money into his account, it will now reflect on the wireless account. We are having two different platforms now, safe and wireless. So we must move money from safe to wireless before our customer can have sufficient fund to do withdrawal. It's giving us a lot of concern. We want a situation whereby any money that you pin to the account, it will reflect on the wireless, so that we will not be having an issue of insufficient fund, because most times some of our customers deposit a lot of money to their account. Thank you very much.
Okay, so on the case of the POS, on the group POS today, of course, you can check your card balance today, and on the notification pay by transfer, I think the group also resolved that issues on their own terminals, right? So I think the group POS addressed the concerns that you have on that aspect of it, right? So you can check your card balance, and you can also do your pay by transfer notification. So errand pay, of course, they don't have sufficient manpower at the moment. Their core developer left the ecosystem, so it's been a very difficult time for them to manage the environment. So that's why support as at this time is very minimal, right? But of course, we understand with them, and we are following up right to hand with them to ensure that those concerns are resolved, which I believe if you understand me here, it should be resolved, right? But we are working round the clock to ensure that, of course, in the case of insufficient funds, we'll work around that. We'll work around auto sweep for you on the safe environment, so that you can just provide at what point you want the system to automatically debit your safe and credit your wireless. If that will help on the coming years. So Nandom will work around that one on the coming year, right? So for those who have sufficient funds, you can just say, okay, 10%, 20% of whatever that's on safe migrated to wireless. So of course that we are able to work around with. Right. So let me take one more question so that I'll allow everyone to go. One more question.
All right. Thank you. I don't know if I can ask my question now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. All right. Please, I want to sincerely appreciate your effort so far. I really, really appreciate it. But please, there is one thing that is really, really bothering me. I think this should be my second year now. I don't know how you can help us out with an accounting system that at least every transaction that we are doing, the profit that belongs to from this transaction, I don't know how we can separate it from what I'm just trying to say is that we want to know our profits, either from deposits, withdrawal, airtime, and every other services, the profits that belong, because as of today, now, I can't even say this is the profit Arewa Light make from all this transaction, because it's coming in a pool and you can see all those things are going out and all those things. At the same time, we're still pushing, we're still investing. So you'll be able to plan. If you know this is how much I make, even though you know this is from the total transaction that happened, this is my profit. So you'll be able to know when to employ, when to push ahead, when to add more. So I think it's very, very important to help us with this accounting system. This is just my question.
Okay. So so on that regard, we'll take your request. We'll take that as a feedback. We'll create a additional accounts for charges. So this simply means that as we charge your customer, we will not leave that value on your pool account. And separate it for you. Yeah, so of course we can work around that. But please send the request to me and to Savior while we look around that and the coming. Let's take one more question. The time is up. One more question.
So with that, we calculated we have.
I don't know if I can ask question.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Able. First and foremost,
I have a question. I want to say I'm enjoying your service. God bless you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Can I proceed?
No question, only compliments. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Ebo, CEO, go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you very much. So I want to, first of all, I want to appreciate you and your entire team for what you guys have been doing. So far, so good. I've been with you guys for, though I'm a baby already in your system for like 3-4 months now. And I can practically tell you that you guys are trying. You are doing very well. You are on a daily basis. You are improving more and more and more. So the only area where I have consigned, one, I'm enjoying the system. So the area where I have a concern is the area of card and this POS. Some weeks back, you posted in our in your general group about a company that have agreed to partner with WBA regarding the POS system. And if I try to private chat you to know when can we choose to be purchase POS from them. You said when the right to time clocks, you will share contacts on the group. So I don't know. I want to ask if that relationship will be sealed and we can proceed to purchase POS from those companies. I don't know, sir.
Okay,
that is what.
Yes. So so let me do, because of the time frame. So basically what we've done today, just like the RMP when we started with them, the minimum you can purchase of terminal is 20, right? Which of course is their traditional medios, right? For you to get their terminals, API connection, wherever. But of course, when we come, we have to establish connections with them, establish relationship with them, which make it even much easier for you to get as much as 2 terminals from them, from the RMP system today. So like the group guys, which we've worked with, they will seal everything. The integration is done. We have a couple of POS already, but their minimum order is one thing I'm not sure a lot of people want to go. The terminal is expensive. The terminal is about 87,000 naira per terminal. And of course, the minimum you can purchase is about 20 terminals, right? But we are trying to make it possible for every businesses to be able to purchase 2, 3 thereabout. It's the same terminal with money points. Like if you look at the same terminal, the tab and the button, exactly the same terminals, right? So, but we are working hard to see how we can minimize the request minimum order rate, right? So of course, all that is being concluded or finalized by them. We just share the contact, you start purchasing. We don't want to share the contact now and they start telling you 20 minimum or even 50 minimum and you start running back to us. So we just want to be sure that they've agreed with our terms of service, because we understand it's not everyone that wants to invest that huge sum of amount on the POS at once, right? Possibly you want to buy as you go, as the customer requests for it, you want to buy some and go, and because the POS is also high on the other end route. So basically that is just the reason. So of course, on the card issuance, it's a very disturbing thing for us, and we are also very, 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 very disappointed at VEV. But on the other end, we are not blaming them, right? So before now, VEV are not supporting what they call NFC tap and pay, but earlier the year, because of what we want to achieve, even on the coming year, that is where you get to see a lot of tap and pay options in Nigeria, right? So this year it's more of like introduction, but in the coming year, a lot of tap and pay, because the era of hard time POS terminal is fading out, right? As the fee is going up, the option is also fading out. So basically what we want to do is to provide an option where the customer are able to receive payment via the mobile app as the POS terminal itself. So you can use your handset, which is your mobile Android phone, as your POS itself. And also for the cards, wherever, anywhere that they go that support tap and pay, they don't need to slot their card. They just need to tap the card on top of the POS or the ATM card, and they enter their PIN for withdrawal. So because of that, hence this is the first of its kind in Nigeria. And Wire Banking said, VEV, go ahead, let's do it. It backfire. VEV could not complete the project, right? So when they launched the card is out, but the card was not working fine. So VEV had to take it back to reconfigure it back. So this reconfiguration is taking longer time than expected. We'll write a series of messages to them. They'll promise us next week, next 2 weeks. We are just tired. The only thing that we are just waiting, any day that they've decided that the card is ready, let the Lord ship to us. But of course, whoever that wants cards right now, if you do not want to wait for the NFC, you can just request for a regular card, which is the similar of the black plain card. You can request for similar black white plain card, which can come in less than 3 months, right? Why ours is delaying because of the NFC. They've started it, they cannot undo it. So we just have to be patient for them to find out what exactly is the issue and fix it. But it's bad to hear that our card is what VEV is using for experiment of the NFC solution in Nigeria, right? So of course, all the banks will start taking out all their local cards for NFC, but this is the first of its kind, which Wire Banking want to introduce in Nigeria. But of course, it's not easy. We just have to be patient. But we are hoping that that by January or February, that they get back to us. At the moment, all the court is on VEV. The card is ready, but not working fine. So we cannot dispatch those cards. We have to wait for them to conclude